So I've got a question for you. Are you a reaction or are you a reality? Are you a problem or are you a phenomenon? My name is Mr. 2020. You are listening to the Power of Imagination podcast, where we explore one thing and one thing only, and that's living from the power of vision. Because you've got a choice today, right? You can live from arguments, right? You know if you're in a state of argument. Because if you're in a state of argument, you're always looking for something to agree with you because you're right and life is wrong and all that baloney. Or are you living from vision? Vision is so silent, it invites you to sing along with the sacred song, to celebrate life, because you are the wisdom, the power, and the glory of God. So let's dive in. Are you a reaction or are you a reality? I gotta tell you, being a reaction is hard work. It's exhausting. And it's like sucking on an exhaust pipe. You know, you're getting the after stuff, right? Because you always feel like you're after, or something's after you. And this is what's really, really cool. You can be a reaction or you can be a reality. To be a reaction, you have to take the past, right? Well, this is what I know. This is who I am. This is what happened before. This is what history says, right? So to be a reaction, you have to take something from the past, whether it's personal or something you decide to personalize, and then you've got to stick it in the future. Well, if this, then that. A lot of argument goes on. You go through flow charts, but you never get to flow. If this, then that. If that, then this. It's the life of the nutter. And I'm not a fan of the life of the nutter. Let's try again. Are you a problem or are you a phenomenon? You'll know if you're a problem because you go through life seeing what? Problems. You know why you do that? Because you're seeking problems. We always seek what we're like. And if you believe that you are a problem or a problem solver, you're going to keep finding what? Problems. On the other hand, if you're a phenomenon, right, you can have the experience of living in the playground of possibility. I met her, and I could have went problem. All right, I'm a United States citizen. Problem. I don't know how to move around the world. Problem. What if she doesn't even like me? Problem. Oh, all these problems. It's going to cost money. It's going to cost stuff. It's going to problem. I could have done that. I could have met her and went problem. Right? That first year with her, I could have went problem. On the other hand, we played a game called the Playground of Possibility. Ooh, wouldn't you like to have a chat about that? Do you notice most of the chats you're in are all about what? Problems. Very little actually entertain and invite possibility. And what you are is a possibility. Because you are a life-giving spirit. You are what gives life. You are how God has the adventure of a lifetime. But you can't possibly notice that whenever you're living in the experience of argument, seeking agreement. And I'm inviting you to rise to the level of vision. Neville Goddard said you have to. I agree. There's a reason why my name is Mr. 2020. The number of perfect vision. Doesn't mean I always have it, but it sure is a hell of a reminder to live from there. And I'm a reminder to remind you to live from the power of vision. So here's the deal. You've got a fundamental choice today. Right? So you can be fun or you can be demental. Right? If you're a reaction, you're probably really mental. You probably go in there a lot and don't even realize how much you're in there. Mentalizing, right? Meanwhile, you could be a possibility. You could be playing with us. You could realize that you are how God has the adventure of a lifetime. Because as long as life is a journey and you're living out the hero's journey and you're settling for the stories that everyone tells and believes and repeats, you're not tapping into the power of personal. Because your desires are all intensely personal. And what people do is they settle for fixing universal problems. Not enough money, not enough cuddles, too fat, too sick, whatever. But your desires, they're specific to you. I met her. I fell in love with her. I let all of those vague and universal problems walk away. And I moved states and I moved around the world. I got citizenship, blah, blah, blah. And I invite you to play. But meanwhile, this one's getting a little long, and so let me just invite you right now to imagine up something yummy as I look at my dog playing in the garden as we go into the silence. You know, you don't have to settle for the suck stories that everybody says are true. And you know how you can tell if you've settled for suck stories that everyone says is true? You're going to have inner arguments. You're going to be trying to turn the tide around. You're going to believe that you really are. You know, once stuck, always stuck. Once suck, always suck. That's how you feel. You don't gotta say it. People resist saying how they feel because they think words have power. Neville Goddard taught feeling is the secret. Meanwhile, we're gonna raise feeling to the level of vision. So are you an excuse or are you your excellency? Are you a reaction or are you a reality? I invite you to explore a little bit more. You've been listening to the Power of Imagination podcast, where we explore one thing and one thing only, the wonderful power of the human imagination. You are the dance of humanity and divinity. You are how God has the adventure of a lifetime. And if you're living from states, you can move states in the twinkle of an eye. If you're living from stories, oh well, let's see how it ends, 20. Have a lovely day. See ya.